Hello, welcome to a new session on Python programming offered by Sifting Bytes Academy. My name is Venu, and in this video, we will learn about various environments that we will be working in and how to choose a Python version for our environment. I hope you find it interesting and informative. Let's get started. Let's say there is a company named Pets Affairs, which is primarily into producing dog and cat food. They are based out of New York and have many stores in the city. They have a well spread out physical stores across the city where people can walk into to buy what they want. Such physical stores are called brick and mortar stores. Recently, they have realized that to increase their sales as expected, it's not enough to just expand their network of physical stores, which is often a time-taking and very expensive process, as it involves lot of real estate aspects and parameters. So they decided to go online to expand their market or their customer base globally. They want to have their very own e-commerce platforms like a website and a mobile app, through which customers from anywhere in the world can buy stuff directly from them. So they hire a software development company named Sifting Bytes Technologies, based out of Hyderabad, to build and develop these software platforms. Now, developing e-commerce platforms like a web application and mobile applications involves multiple technologies, from developing a front end to handling databases and all. If the company is also looking for some kind of business intelligence solutions, which involves data analytics, then the project becomes quickly complex. Software development companies have experts who are equipped to handle such complex workflows. Python is a general purpose programming language, so it can be used for building software in a wide variety of application domains. In our example, Python can be used to build backend systems for e-commerce platforms. Python is also a very popular scripting language, which can be used to write scripts for automating workflows, for data processing tasks and whatnot. Do not worry if you are new to these terms like backend or automation or workflows. In this video, we won't be working on those anyways. But after finishing up the course, you'll be able to work on any of them. Now coming back to the topic at hand, for this client-vendor relationship to work out, both the stakeholders have unique and important roles to play. The software development company, Sifting Bytes Technologies, is the vendor here. A software vendor which is into the business of developing and selling software. The company Pets Affairs is the client here, which is buying software from the vendor. The first thing a client should do is come up with a detailed document describing what the software should do and all the features they need in the software and share it with the vendor. This document is called Software Requirements Specification. It is basically a document written in plain and simple English describing all the features of the software on a high level. It might also contain some sample line diagrams of the user interfaces, generally referred to as wireframes. Secondly, a client should also prepare and set up an environment where the final applications will be running after they are developed. An environment basically means a server computer or a group of server computers working together to run software applications. This environment, where the final software is supposed to be running, is called production environment. The complexity of an environment depends on how software is designed to work. A simple application, like a simple automation script written in Python, can run on a single server. Then, the production environment is said to have only one server computer. Whereas, if we take an example of a complex web application, it's best if we use multiple servers. One for hosting and running the main application called a web server, and another one for handling databases called a database server at the bare minimum. It can get more complex than this, but we will limit ourselves to this relatively simpler architecture for this video. Now all the servers that make up a production environment or a production setting are very critical, because the systems are online 24/7 and customers globally are accessing the website to make their purchases. This production environment has to be up and running seamlessly without any interruptions. Even if they are down for few minutes, the company might lose lot of money in revenue. Even worse, they might lose customers permanently to other competitors who might provide a better user experience. So, generally companies also maintain another environment which closely mimics the production settings called development environment. This is where applications are run first for testing purposes. The hardware and software configurations of the development environment are kept very similar to production environment, so that if applications run perfectly in development environment, then they should run on production environment as well. This approach of maintaining multiple environments is a very common practice and strongly recommended too, because one really cannot afford to take a risk to run applications directly on production environment, even if the applications are developed by expert programmers. So, after writing or developing applications, they will be tested thoroughly in the development environment before they roll out a production release. Some clients maintain more than 2 environments as well. They can have a dev environment, in short for development environment, accessible by developers for doing some basic application runs and for unit testing their code. They can have a test environment, in short for testing environment, accessible to testers for further thorough testing, like integration testing and end-to-end testing. And then they can have prod environment, in short for production environment, where the applications go live and are accessible to their customers and general public. It all depends on what the client wants and what they can really afford. As you can see, managing such multiple environments is a very daunting task. And the client company actually has a couple of options here. They can maintain these environments all by themselves by setting up an in-house on-premise network of server computers. They will need to buy hardware, they will have to buy system software for running this hardware, they will have to hire a system administrator or sometimes a team of expert admins to manage these servers. And there are real estate and other infrastructure related issues. Like they need a building to set up servers, they will need cooling systems in place and whatnot. And most of all, it might take few months to set it all up, if not years. Alternatively, they can opt for cloud computing, which is a simpler solution, if they want to spin up an environment with minimum management responsibilities. There are many cloud service providers out there, starting with the market leaders like Amazon's AWS, Microsoft's Azure, or Google's GCP and many others. If the client chooses to set up the production environment in cloud, most of the above pain points are abstracted away, just taken away from the client by cloud service providers. Cloud service providers take care of all those things now in return for a reasonable fee. Spinning up an environment in cloud is super quick and easy. It's not only simple and quick, it's also cost effective and economical. Well, it's up to the client to choose whether to go with a simpler cost effective cloud solution or to go with the in-house on-premise setup of their own. Now let's focus on the vendor side. The software vendor quickly puts up a project team together to get work started as per the SRS document provided by the client. The team size and composition could vary. It depends on the scale of the project. But in general, it consists of a project manager, a team lead, and a group of developers and testers. In our case, Python developers are part of this team, and they start working on the applications on their local machines. Could be a desktop or a laptop. These machines, where developers are actually writing code in, are called development machines. Call it local development machines. And just do not confuse them with the development environment which the client maintains for testing these applications after development is done. Now let's see how to choose a Python version for our requirement. For that, let's pull up the Python's official website, python.org. And in downloads, for my operating system, that is Windows, we can see different versions of Python. Latest releases, stable releases, and pre-releases. If you are someone who is just getting started to learn Python language, then you should go with the latest release available. It has all the latest features added to the language and it's great for exploring and experimenting. You can install Python locally in your personal computer, be it a desktop or a laptop. And that's what we will do in this course too. But if you are not fully invested in learning Python, but just want to try out writing and running small Python code snippets, then you can explore online Python interpreters. For example, you will find one in python.org website itself, where you can write short code snippets and execute them. Another one that you can try out is from w3schools.com. These are all cloud-based learning environments. They're also called sandboxes. They allow you to play around with Python in a confined, limited environment. But if you are fully committed to learn the language, then you should pick up the latest version and install it locally in your personal computer to unleash the full potential of the features the language offers. Stable releases are recommended for production systems, because they have been released for a while now and things might have stabilized a bit after a series of bug fixes and patch versions. Hence the name stable releases. People have been using these versions for quite some time now, and chances of finding new bugs are a lot lesser than latest releases. Development environment should also have the same version that's in the production environment, because the idea is to mimic or replicate the production environment as much as possible. Hence, one of the stable releases are recommended for production, development, and testing environments. Now, since a developer is writing Python code in his or her local computer, and that should work on production environment ultimately, it is recommended to go with the same version as used in production environment and development environment, so that a Python code written and tested locally in the developer's computer also runs on dev and prod environments of the client. And finally, there are pre-releases. These releases are still in development process, but yet they are made available for developer community so that Python experts or professionals can try them out and provide feedback. And also one can report bugs through Python issue tracker available in python.org website. This way, core Python team can take inputs from larger developer community and make changes accordingly to the upcoming planned release. Please note, these pre-releases are not for someone who just started to learn the language. Apart from these various versions, we have various Python distributions also to choose from. We will learn about them in the next video. At this point, it is important to note that we can also install multiple versions of Python in our computers. They can be managed easily if you know what you are doing. We will learn about it in the installation video. Managing multiple versions of Python in our computer has become even more easier and safer with the introduction of tools like Virtual Env and VENV, which allow us to create virtual Python environments in our computer. We will also learn about those tools in detail in the course. That's all for now. See you in the next one. Your feedback will be enormously helpful in improvising the final shape of this course. So please subscribe to the Sifting Bytes channel and contribute any questions, comments, or suggestions in the comment section below. Thank you very much.